This week on Books Cubed.
Each book has a little howling moment, and when we're howling in the library, well, this
Oh,
one we got the doors shut on us, so but it still was amazing, and they were super fun about it.
good adventures, everybody. I'm Melissa Bonsack, and welcome to episode 134 of Books Cubed, the show where I chat with authors you should be reading. I have a great show for you today. We are talking about wolves. Let me show you the book. This is Trumpet and the Miracle Wolf Pup. And the author is Leokadia George, and she works with a wolf conservation center in New York. And it's very exciting and very fun interview. So stick around. I want to quickly say thank you to everybody who has sent me well wishes about my broken wrist. It is much better. It was touch and go for several weeks of whether they would do surgery or not. They were leaning towards surgery, but not wanting to do it. And now they're leaning toward, okay, it looks like I won't need surgery. I'm very excited. I only have to wear this splint for another couple weeks. And I'm very excited. I can start typing again. It's just very exciting. Very happy camper. So let's get right to the interview, and I will see you after. I want to welcome Leokadia George. She studied psychology, which became her career, and as an animal lover, she also volunteers at nature centers and animal rescues. While volunteering with critically endangered Mexican gray wolves and red wolves, the author became inspired by the story of one Mexican gray wolf, F1505, nicknamed Trumpet. She decided to share Trumpet's story to help dispel the bad wolf image and highlight conservation efforts with the milestones in Trumpet's life. 50% of the author's profits from the Trumpet, the Miracle Wolf Pup series will be donated to wolf conservation efforts to save this species from extinction. So welcome on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me.
I was so excited when I saw that you work with animal rescue. It is near and dear to my heart. My daughter, who is very old now, when she was 13, she started volunteering at the local zoo. And then when we moved to Arizona, she volunteered at the Tucson Wildlife Rescue Center for about, I don't know, 2 or 3 years before she left for college. And I was their videographer. So I would go out on rescues and videotape things. I would videotape anything they wanted. I remember one time sitting in a sink in the surgery room videotaping a javelina leg amputation. And I remember
Oh,
watching this through the camera thinking, if this animal comes out of anesthesia suddenly, the first thing they're going to do is run right into my lap because that's how I was facing them. And I thought, I need to rethink my life choices, you know? So you have worked, you started out, you said, working at a wildlife rescue center.
The first actual volunteer situation that I was in for animals was at the Greenberg Nature Center by me. And that was, I think I was probably around like 13, 14 years old, maybe 15. But yeah, I started off volunteering pretty early and that became a consistent thing. It wasn't actually until about 9 years ago that I learned about and then started volunteering at the Wolf Conservation Center. So that definitely came later in life, but I would say that's probably where I'm most consistently volunteering now is at the Wolf Conservation Center, even though I still volunteer at the Greenberg Nature Center.
And this whole children's book series came about because of one specific wolf.
Yeah, yeah. I learned about her story and I started to recognize, that this would be a great story for to share with children. And the best way to kind of um, have stories, let children know about things is through children's books. And, I recognized that this would make a really great children's book. So I pitched it to the Wolf Conservation Center and um, they knew a little bit more about what it takes to create a book, and I didn't. And so they just couldn't take on that task at that time. So I asked them if I could do it, and they said, of course, yes. And now I'm in the thick of it. So Sometimes it's better not to know in the beginning because it's a lot of work that's put into this. But I'm really grateful that I did do it because now I'm really starting to see children, enjoying the stories, and that's just beyond what I could have expected.
Yeah, and if you're watching on video, behind her, she has the four books in the series. And who is your illustrator?
Maddie Moore?
They're beautiful illustrations. I am waiting.
Yes.
I would love to hold a copy of the book up. I'm waiting for my hardcover to come in the mail.
Oh,
Christmas
okay.
time is
Thank
the
you.
worst time to order anything.
I know.
Absolutely
But
everything. So hold up one of the books so we can see it up close.
I have the
Any of
third,
them, just so we can
the
get a real good. Oh, there we go. Okay, this is Trumpet
let me
and the
see.
Wolf Pup. Trumpet becomes a mom.
Yeah.
Oh, so there's four books, and each of them cover some period of their life, of Trumpet's life.
Yeah, so from actually the start before she was born, the first book covers that, why she was considered a miracle birth. But obviously, watching pup development, watching them grow up is really fun. And I did want to highlight that in a book as well. So Trumpet Grows Up is the second one. Trumpet Finds Love is the third one, which is a little bit of a love story when she was introduced to her mate. Goes a little bit into the courting process, but also how that wolf, Lighthawk, came to the Wolf Conservation Center. He was flown in by an organization called Lighthawk Conservation Flying. They're a group of pilots that donate their flights to saving endangered species. And they were the ones who flew him in as a thank you to them. The Wolf Conservation Center nicknamed him Lighthawk. So it was the perfect opportunity to kind of highlight that unique aspect about conservation, which I would say probably almost no one thinks about. These animals sometimes need to be transferred to one facility to another, or even out to the wild. And how do you do that? So we're really grateful to like Hawk Conservation Flying and other organizations like that donate their flights to make it more efficient and also cost effective.
Oh yeah. Oh, I love that they named him after the organization. That's so
Yeah.
great.
And
And
what
do
a
you
great name.
I know that's I know when you said his name at first I'm thinking that's a really cool name, you know. And
Yeah.
then he's a shapeshifter and oh no, different kind of book. Different kind of book.
Yes.
So do you go out in public and do readings at children's schools?
Yeah, actually, I was just out at the Loisboro Library. That was last weekend, and did a reading for them, and that was a lot of fun. A note to self, when we're each book has a little howling moment, and when we're howling in the library, well, this one we got the doors shut on us, so but it still was amazing, and they were super fun about it. They just said, okay, children's section here, we'll just let you be loud, and we'll be quiet in the rest of the library. But the kids had fun, I had fun, and makes for a silly moment, but I highly recommend, maybe not in the midst of the library, but those howling moments, go for it. It's so fun to do a group howl and to get into it. It's a really nice bonding moment, not just for wolves, but for people too.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Do you have like on your do you have a website where people if they want you to do a reading, can they contact you to get you to come out and do a reading?
Yeah, they can email me, leokadiageorge.books@gmail.com. I also have a bio at my on my publisher's website, Briley and Baxter Publications, and also the Wolf Conservation Center. This reading, actually, we did have one of the staff members at the Wolf Conservation Center come. We did activities afterwards. So obviously, I'm there on a weekly basis, but we collaborate to get the word out as far as wolves in general, but also about Trumpet's story. So NewYorkwolf.org. the Wolf Conservation Center. We can either collaborate with a reading or they could organize something. We just definitely would love to work with libraries, schools, or any facility that this can benefit, where there's a group of kids and we can get some fun howling moments and share a beautiful story.
Yeah, and I like that it's geared to kids because adults have such preconceived notions about wolves. And what are some of the things that you have to try to overcome? And I'm not sure if it translates to the kids, if they listen to their folks and they have those same fears, or I mean, what if you're in a room full of adults who, when you said wolves, they all went ah? I mean, what are some of the things you're going to say to help calm down fears?
With adults, it is it's a lot easier to have more of a serious conversation about, some of the facts, that dispel the myths and our preconceptions about wolves. So we can kind of go through, what we've observed, what we studied, and really kind of get into a deep conversation about that. With kids, it's a little different. So, a lot of how they learn is visual. And, you can show them videos of wolves and that can help. But really, the illustrations, the guided images through a story, that really helps kids learn. So, not only hearing about the story, but also the guided images. One of the things that we have learned about wolves is that they are really shy and, with humans. They don't want to be around us, they will run away. So, one of the things that I did in the books is when I have the humans and the wolves in the same image, either the wolves are, running away or far away, um, or if they're having, for instance, some of the health checks that I have in the books that I do highlight in mention in the storyline, that the wolf at this point, either Trumpet or her family members, they're scared, and which is the reality of the situation. They are scared when we are there, and they are scared during their health checks. They it's something that I think at least I hope I did a good job in the books to kind of show that the wolves would prefer not to be there, that they do have feelings, and that they do get scared when the humans are there.
For a long time, there was issues with wolves being removed from the wild.
Yeah.
I remember reading when they were reintroduced. I mean, they never left Yosemite, but when they were reintroduced to Yosemite, how it really helped the park. You know,
Yeah, when they went,
yeah,
yeah,
they were able to go and you know cull down the herd of I have no mind, four-legged
the
animals.
elk and
Thank you,
yeah, the
elks.
elk
Oh
and
my God!
yeah,
So they were able to called
yeah,
it, and I think I read that there was also the first year they were introduced, there was a drought, so the elk were had kind of the population had lowered down some, but that the wolves helped to bring down the population. Then they weren't eating all of the fresh brush that was along the river.
yeah,
The brush was able to grow, erosion cut down. The river no longer was meandering; it became stronger. More species were able to. I mean, it's just if you take one species out thinking that you're doing something that's going to help, you're just going to screw everything else. It's dominoes.
yeah. Yes, exactly. Everything's interconnected. One of the things that I think sometimes gets missed in that story is that it's not just that the wolves are culling the population, the ungulates, but they're also changing their behavior. So when the wolves were not there, those animals, they felt comfortable just to be able to eat whatever it is to the ground and not move on. And they, could congregate in large groups and just decimate an area. Um, And when the wolves came, they were no longer felt safe to do that. So they would eat a little bit, kind of look up, be a little wary, and say, "All right, time to move on," and then go to a different area. And that way, the we could have, saplings grow to maturity and create a home for all those other smaller animals and other birds, and including birds of prey and songbirds, that they could flourish in the area too. So it wasn't just that they were keeping the numbers of elk in check, but they were changing their behavior to be something that could help the ecosystem.
which is so important. And people don't look beyond
Yeah.
that. So, got to ask real quick before I forget. So, one time we were driving, we were going to my sister in law's house, and she lives out in the middle of nowhere in Wisconsin. And I think it was night. And as we were going, it was starting to get dark. A wolf crossed the road in front of us. We weren't going fast, we wouldn't have hit it. But it crossed in front of us. It was absolutely beautiful. And that was just a great experience to see one in the wild. He was skinny, but he was
Right.
beautiful. Have you lucked into seeing any wolves that are actually in the wild and not being brought into the center?
No, the only wolves that I've seen have been captive population, whether they've been the wolves that could be reintroduced to the wild or the ambassador wolves. You did mention the wolf was skinny. Was
He was.
was this during summer or spring or
Nah, it was toward winter.
toward winter?
Yeah,
Okay,
because there was no snow on the
because
ground yet, but it was colder.
Okay, because often what we'll see is they have this undercoat, and in the spring they will shed that, and in the summer they won't have that, and then they will regrow that undercoat again in the fall time. And often people come in to the Wolf Conservation Center and say, "You
Oh,
need to
hang on. I'm
feed your
sorry.
wolves
I'm
more."
sorry. I'm sorry. Spam.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
I'm sorry. So people would come into the center.
Yeah, and they will say you need to feed your wolves more. They're too skinny, and I think people what we usually we see these images of wolves in the wintertime when they have that thick undercoat, and so they look bigger, but they're actually built a little bit more like marathon runners. So they have a very lean physique, and it's not that they're hungry, it's just that that's naturally how they look. So I was curious as if to see if that's, how you saw the wolf. But it's
Possibly.
winter.
Yeah.
Maybe the
Yeah.
wolf was hungry.
Yeah. And they travel large distances, don't they, when they're out in the wild?
Oh yeah. Yes, yes, they do.
So that would explain. And you're right, marathon runner. I never thought about
Yeah.
the fact that, of course, they would be lean because of all the traveling they do. Yeah. So, what is the name of the rescue that you work with again?
The Wolf Conservation Center.
Wolf Conservation Center. So, how many
Yeah.
wolves do they have at the moment?
Right now they have, I believe it's 32.
Oh,
We just got a new pack in. So a lot of the wolves there, most of the wolves actually, are either red wolves or Mexican gray wolves. And those wolves actually belong to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife. So those wolves may be moved from facility to facility for whatever reason, for whatever needs that the U.S. Fish and Wildlife has deemed that they need to move. And so we just got a pack of wolves back again because these wolves, they had puppies last year and they needed a bigger enclosure because they wanted, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife wants them to also have another, hopefully, litter this year. And they did need a bigger facility to accommodate that. So I'm not 100% sure on the number, but I think it's 32.
okay, that's a lot of wolves. That's really good. That they're doing
Yeah.
great work then.
Yeah. And it
Yeah.
fluctuates that, sometimes they'll have fewer wolves and it's just because they have instead of a pack family at that moment, they'll have a breeding pair. So that breeding pair can suddenly grow, triple the size depending on the size of the litter. So it always shifts and changes. I think at our highest point we had about 50 wolves there.
Wow.
But that was a high puppy season. We had three wolf families have puppies that year. I think three or
Aw.
four. Yeah.
How
So
many are in an average litter? Is there an average
so it can be
size?
anywhere between 1 to 10. Um,
Wow.
Yeah, so like I said, Trumpet's story, she was the only one. She was the only one born to her father, and so obviously it was a litter of one. But our highest litter, I believe we had a litter of nine, was the highest. I
Wow.
don't know if we ever had a litter of 10, but that's possible too. So it can be anywhere in between that. Usually they'll have like four, five, six. So that's, I guess, typical.
Okay, so the babies are born. I don't know how much you know about this. I mean, I'm gonna ask anyway. So the babies are born, and how much work is done to? I mean, how much socializing can you do to get these? Not socializing. How much can you do to get these babies to go back out to the wild to be released? Are babies released out into the wild after? I mean, after they've
Yeah.
grown up.
So, as far as the Mexican gray wolves and the red wolves, we do minimal um, intervention. So the mother will have the puppies. We hope that she chooses the den that has the den camera so we can observe. But for the most part, even if she doesn't choose that, we let her do her thing up until I think like 1 week, maybe give or take a couple days. Then the curator will go in there and do a brief health check to the puppies, just to make sure the puppies are healthy, that there isn't any medical intervention that's needed. So she'll look at the mouth, make sure there's no cleft palate, look at the paws, no, and the belly button, no infections going on. And listen to the heart, do a basic health check. And at that point, there is a potential for the puppies to be flown out to the wild. This is called a cross foster or a foster. And they typically do it before the puppy's 2 weeks old because around 2 weeks is when the eyes start to open, the ears start to develop, they can hear, and they prefer to do it before that happens, so they can fly the puppy out to the wild where another mother has a litter around the same age, and they can add those puppies to that litter and they will adopt them. So
Wow.
that is one of the ways that they can get the genetic material out to the wild population, but also give some of these wolves the opportunity to grow up as a wild wolf. Um, there are some circumstances where they will release adult wolves. And in Mexico, one of Trumpet's puppies was released as an adult in that fashion. And also the red wolves, they have started to release adult wolves back out to the red wolf population in the wild in North Carolina because that wolf population is really struggling. Um, One of the things that the conservation groups really focus on and try to advocate for is for pack families to be released to the wild. When you have a family structure already, their chances for survival are so much higher, just because they're working as a team together, and it's just a lot more success. So, instead of releasing, one wolf and another wolf and hoping that they pair up, the wolf advocacy groups and conservation groups have really pushed for them to release pack families instead. And so hopefully there will be more of that coming.
Would they? I think they would probably have to find areas where there weren't too many other wolves. Are they very territorial?
They are, yeah. Wolves are definitely territorial, and they go out every year and try to put collars on various wolves. They do a whole count, and they do the health check at that point, so they can add a collar to especially and one of the wolves that's in charge of a pack, basically a dominant male or a dominant female. If they can get that wolf collared, it really tracks the motion of the entire pack. They do that, and so they can monitor, which territory, a wolf pack has, and so obviously they wouldn't release a pack into that area, or even a single wolf, into that area to, potentially create conflict. They are mindful as far as to where these wolves should be released and how they should be released.
You have 4 books now of Trumpet's life. Do you have more on the way?
I do I'm working on the manuscript for the fifth book right now. So, and that book will actually highlight that cross foster process or foster process.
Oh,
So, I'm super, super excited about that one. Not every wolf has that opportunity in the program. It's the U.S. Fish and Wildlife who decides who gets to breed with whom, and also who gets released into the wild. So Trumpet is, at her birth, she was the most genetically distinct wolf in the female wolf of the entire Mexican gray wolf population.
wow.
And since then she's had a number of puppies, including puppies that have been cross-fostered into the wild. Her DNA was not represented in the wild population before this process. So, it was really important to be able to get some of her puppies out into the wild. And I really wanted to highlight that process through the first cross foster or foster.
Did you always want to write books?
No, no, not at all. So I never envisioned myself becoming an author. I do enjoy writing, but I never thought to publish anything or write children's books. And it really was her story that inspired me. And I thought it was really important. So I kind of recognized that if I didn't do it, it likely wouldn't get done. And so I just decided to kind of go ahead and do it.
I think it's a great idea that you did that because you're right.
Yeah.
If you hadn't done it and you had suggested it and they didn't have time to do it, so it might have just fallen by the wayside and nobody would have done it. And all of these children would have been denied this great story about Trumpet. And she's still around, right?
Yes, yeah.
Oh,
You
good.
can watch her on live web cameras. Yeah. She's
There's
yeah.
web cameras. Oh, great. You'll have
Mhm.
to send me the links and we'll put those down in the show notes so that people can,
Yeah,
excuse me,
yeah.
can watch her. Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah,
It,
and actually that I'm sorry, the fourth book, she gave birth to those puppies live on the web cameras because she chose the den that was had the camera in it. And so that was just an amazing time to be able to watch her. And it's
yeah.
where I got a lot of the content from the books, for the books, is through those just watching her on those web cameras.
Oh, that's great that she chose. I'm sure everybody was watching, going, "Go left, go left, go left." Oh gosh! Now people can go to the wolf rescue.
Yeah, they can sign up for a program. So on the Wolf Conservation Center's website, there's the availability to sign up for programs either individually. They offer programs typically every weekend, but sometimes even during the week, later in the evening or afternoons. Um, and but they can also sign up as like a teacher or school can sign up to visit as a class. And so they can just visit the website and, contact about, signing up for a school program. So there's a number of ways that people can go and visit. But it's always like signing up for a program.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I like that. I like that. We'll put that down in the show notes. Where can people find the books to buy them?
So they can buy them directly from the Wolf Conservation Center. They have a store there, so if people go for a program, they can buy the books there. But they also have an online store, so they can order the books online at the Wolf Conservation Center as well. That's newyorkwolf.org. Briley and Baxter Publications, my publisher, also has a bookstore, so they can purchase the books through the publisher as well. And obviously Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, they're online stores. You can buy them there. But also indie bookstores, they will often offer an online store where they can order the books for you. And some of them, at least in this area in the Northeast, have been carrying the books physically in their bookstore. So you can pop in and check out the books that way as well. So the books are definitely becoming more widespread to be able to purchase and share.
Oh, I like that. And I will drop all the links in the show notes so you can check them out there. Thank you for coming on. I'm so excited to get my book. My niece just had twins and she already has a 3-year-old. So
Aww.
after I read it, I'm going to send it off to her. I was going to send it to her direct, and I'm like, I want to see the book because the illustration on the cover is just adorable. And I said, I
Yeah.
want to see the story. So, and of course, it's in the mail.
Yeah. It's unfortunate that it's so difficult around, especially around this time. Yeah.
I know Christmas time. It is December as we talk is December 12th. So December is the worst month to try to buy something that you just want for yourself because it's going to take forever and a day to
Yeah.
get. So yeah, so thank you. Thank you so much for coming on. Everything we talked about will be down on the show notes. And when you have your next book, you'll have to let me know and you can come on and we'll
I
talk about that
will.
next one.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Everything we discussed is down in the show notes. If you're in the New York area, you can go check out the Wolf Conservation Center. And if you're not, grab one of Trumpet's books and enjoy that with your kids. Do a little howling. This book, I've thoroughly enjoyed reading it, and this book is going to go off to my niece who had twins just a couple months ago. She also has a 3-year-old, so I know that the book will get lots and lots of love. And that's it. So we'll have another great show for you next week. And in the meantime, go read a good book. The Books Cube theme music was written by Laura Lynn Hardy. She performed the vibraphone. Billy Tyke Miller performed percussion. And it was recorded at Mills Kids Recording in Huntsville, Alabama.